Hey doctors, good morning. Hey, I want to talk about something today. Instead of our Friday talk, I'm gonna do a video here on something that some of you are getting tripped up on, and it's really important to be able to hit the numbers that you're hitting, is to be able to convert on that day two. So what I'm going to talk about today is some aspects of your day two conversion. Okay, day one. Day one is where you set the stage, right? The prospects are coming into your practice based off some marketing piece that you're doing. They're coming into the practice, and now the show begins, right? So staff has got to have an awesome greeting. They got to make that person feel comfortable. This is all part of the building rapport on the day one. If you can get people to know, like, and trust you on day one, then you're going to be able to bridge that gap when it comes to objections on day two. Now, there's some people that are just not going to be able to do this on day two. But it's all about positioning yourself to be able to be in a position to where you and the patient can win at the end of the day two when you get ready to start your treatment. Okay? So day one, you're laying that foundation. You're doing the greeting when they come in. You're giving that office tour. You're making that person feel at home. They're getting some very basic paperwork filled out. Once they're filled out, they're going to go see the doctor and sit down for a consultation. So the doctor's going to sit down. He's going to greet that person inside his consultation room. He's going to start trying to create a relationship with that person. He's going to see if he's going to create a bond. If he can create a bond with that person and there's not big objections on the qualification sheet that he cannot overcome with this person, then he's going to begin and continue to build that bond. And he's going then, at that point, he's going to move into an exam process where he's going to do a brief exam of the patient, find out the pertinent information that he needs to be able to find out. And then the next step is going to, and the final step on the day one in the consult visit is to be able to take some pictures, okay? So the x-rays are going to be the last component. So there's going to be a process there at the end. After you finish the exam, you're going to tell the patient exactly what you found and that whether they're a good candidate for what you do or not a good candidate for what you do. If they are a good candidate, you're going to proceed on to x-rays. So you're going to say, basically, if you're a higher fee up front, 500 more, you're going to have to let the person know what the charges will be if you take x-rays. I found that if you just go ahead and proceed into x-rays, there can be some issue there when it comes up to taking payment at the end of the first consultation visit. So you're going to say, my next step is to take some pictures of the spine. We really need to get in there and look and see what's going on, Jim. I know what I expect based off my experience of doing this for as long as I have, but I really need to get in there and take a look, okay? Everything that I do from a correction standpoint is going to be based off those three-dimensional x-rays that we're going to take. So you're trying to build the value. You have to build the value. If you're going to charge $500, $600, $700 on your x-rays, you build that value up, okay? So you have to overcome that fear of taking that leap, that patient's taking that leap. So I show them my fee sheet. I charge $780 when I actually take the pictures on this first visit. So that'll include everything up through today. And then what I'll do is have you back on the follow-up visit typically tomorrow, and we'll go through all the findings in detail. You'll ask me all the questions you have, and I'll make sure I'll leave no stones unturned. So that's my next step. You okay with that? Cool. I get their okay. If they have objections, then I got to deal with the objections, and the two objections they're going to have. If it was a Medicare patient, if you guys are Medicare, some of you are going to deal with that question. Will Medicare cover this? Then you got to tell them what's up with that. They already know that because they already seen your fee sheet. Okay. Fees is the next objection. Okay. Well, doctor, if I take x-rays today at $500 a quarter, what is it going to cost on my next visit? So then you've got to go into that. You've got to give them an average. Okay, I don't know exactly right now. I need to take some pictures to find out. If I had to give you my best guess, looking at the amount of problems you've had over the years, the pickle you've got yourself into, see, I'm putting it back on them. See, their mindset is moving towards money. Okay, I have to get them off money. I have to get them off insurance. I got to move them back on value. I got to move them back on urgency. I got to move them back to why they came to me in the first place. They didn't come to me because of insurance or fees. They came to me because they thought Dr. Rader was going to be able to help them. That's why they came to me. So am I going to spend time over here in the insurance and fee box? No, I'm going to shift their mindset back over to the seriousness of their condition. And that they've been dealing with this for 15 years. They've been doing painkillers, muscle relaxers, anti-inflammatories, physical therapy, cortisone injections, and now they're faced with a surgery situation, or wherever they are along in that shift of that medical process. And I'm saying, okay, you can, you know what? To be honest with you, I mean, this is going to be a difficult situation. You've got yourself in a real pickle. It's not going to be an easy fix. I'm going to be working with you probably 10 to 12 weeks. We may be doing 20 to 25 visits. So don't expect a miracle out of me. It's not my first rodeo. I'm pretty damn good at what I do, but we've got some issues here. And if I'm up front with that person and I tell them what the facts and I'm authentic with that person, then I should be able to, most of the time, to get them to x-rays. So I get them to x-rays. All right, we take our pictures. What I like to do, and I'm kind of spending more time on day one here. So anyhow, it is what it is. So you guys, we'll work through it. So at the day one, I'm getting towards the end of day one. I've taken my pictures. What I like to do is I had digital x-rays. So digital x-rays right in the room. Once I had them done taking pictures, I said, okay, we're done taking pictures. Go ahead and get your things back on. Hey, Jill, why don't you come on over here for a second? And then I walk them up to my digital x-ray. So I want to show you something real quick. I want to give you a feel for exactly what we're dealing with now, okay? You see these 3 levels in your neck? Now, do you see how those spaces are different here than what they are here? Do you see how this is doing this? These are discs that set in between these vertebrae, and those discs are collapsing on top of one another, and those vertebrae are getting closer to one another. Now, there's nerves that come off and run down on your arm and your hand. Now, you told me you have some tingling and numbness down in your pinky. So when these nerves get irritated off this spine right here, they start causing that. So I'm going to do a real thorough examination and evaluation of this tonight, and I'm going to put together a protocol and treatment for us to be able to take some pressure off those discs, be able to draw moisture back in there and pump those discs back up. Okay, and so I'm going to study this all tonight. I've already seen the MRI. It tells me exactly what I thought I was going to see here. And so tomorrow when you're in on your next visit, please leave a couple hours because we've got a lot to go through. And by the time we finish our treatment, it's going to take us about that long. Okay, now they'll stop me. They'll say, hey, Dr. Rader, I want to kind of know what it's going to cost tomorrow. Well, typically what I'll do is I'll just say, well, it's going to be 20 to 25 treatments. It's going to be over about 10 to 12 weeks. If you wanted to press me for some sort of figure, and if say your fee was $3,900 for a 20-visit decompression protocol, I would say, Jim, I don't know for sure yet, but I'm going to give you my best estimate. It's typically, in your case, and it's probably about where it's going to be. It's going to be anywhere from $2,900 to $3,900 with my 20% discount. It's probably going to be $3,900 because of what I see here and the amount of severity that's happened over time. So that's a pretty good estimate about what it'll be. Okay, you can do that. I make it affordable. You can do that's on a one-time payment. If you want to do 2 payments, I'll split it up in half. You do half tomorrow, the other half in 2 weeks. And if you want to do interest-free finance with Care Credit, you can do that as well. Payments are as low as on that amount of money, maybe a couple $200 to $300 a month. So over 12 months, as long as you pay it off within 12 months, you don't have any interest. So those are my 3 options. So, all right, I've covered everything. It usually answers their question. Insurance cover it. Spinal decompressions is a non-covered service. Doesn't matter whether you see me or you go see the guy down the street. Doesn't matter. It's not going to be a non-covered service if coded properly, and it has to be coded under spinal decompression. If anyone's telling you different, they're lying to you. They're coding it as traction. This is not traction. This is non-surgical spinal decompression with the best technology that's available. Okay? All right, that usually stops that dead in the tracks right there too, by the way. All right, so I finished that. I'm going to proceed up to the front desk. And so I walk and I'm trying to nail down, before I ever leave that x-ray room on day 1, gang, I am going to nail down my day 2 appointment time. I may not have the exact time, but I've already went into that consult knowing what times I have available. So I'm going to be in there. I say, okay, and I put these little hints along my consultation. Well, when I have you back in tomorrow, or when I have you in tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. And so I plant any seeds. So by the time I leave that x-ray room, I am not going to walk up to my front desk and I'm going to unload at the front desk when I got new patients sitting out there and there's any issues around fees and there's any issues about scheduling that report of findings appointment. I've already established the report of findings appointment. So I walk up to the front desk. I say, hey, Lindsay, I've got everything that we need today. We got some really good pictures. I'm going to stay late tonight and study everything and make sure we got everything put together for Jim here tomorrow. So Jim and I have talked about this. We're going to try to get in tomorrow afternoon. I know we had a 2 and a 3 appointment, 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock appointment. Do we still have that available? And she says, yes or no. She says no. And I says, well, what else do we have? She says, we have a 1:30. Okay, great. Jim, we have a 1:30 available tomorrow. Does that work? No. Okay, that won't work. It's going to be later in the afternoon. Lindsay, what do we have later in the afternoon? We got a 4:30, doctor. Okay, cool. Jim, do we have a 4:30 tomorrow afternoon? Does that work for you? Yeah, I can make that work. A couple hours. We'll be out of here by 6:30. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, great. Lindsay, we're going to book that at 4:30 tomorrow. Okay. All right, Jim. I'm going to turn you over to Lindsay here. She's got everything established. She's going to go ahead and take care of everything here for you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we get started. Okay. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jim. We're going to get started. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jim, and we're going to get started. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Jim, and we're going to get started. I am programming him already what's going to go down day 2. So finish up. She schedules, collects the money, and he's off. He's coming back in tomorrow. Shows up, pleased a lot, and we always had him come in about 10 minutes early if possible. Comes in, okay. We greet them. They get them comfortable. Get them some tea or coffee or water. Have a seat. Go. Dr. Rader will be with you in a little bit or a few minutes. Boom. They take him back to my consult room. I come in. Hey, Jim. Good to see you today. How's your day been so far? Been good. Cool. Sweet. All right. And I look at him dead square in the eyes and I say, hey, Jim, you ready to get started? You ready to get started? Are you ready to get started? I look him in the eyes, and if I see him look away, look up to the left, or I see him look down, or see him look to the side, I know there's some things I got to handle here in this consultation. But if I say that and they lean towards me and say, yeah, I can't wait. I've been waiting for this all night. I couldn't sleep last night. Great. Let's roll. Boom. Go right into it. Okay? Got to pay attention to that, because if they're like, if you're ready to get started, and they do this, then what's Dr. Rader going to do? Dr. Rader's going to be a little more reserved. Dr. Rader's going to pull back a little bit. Dr. Rader's not going to be quite so anxious to get going here. Dr. Rader may end up having to cut this report quicker if he's got a backed up schedule. We don't know yet. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, but if I keep getting resistance and I'm trying to move it through there, and somehow they're locked in on a fee or an insurance situation, and I don't think I'm going to move them past it, do you think I might be moving? Either I'm going to slow down and I'm going to make sure I'm covering everything, and if I still see I can't raise that level of urgency and to get to the next step, I may just go right. I may just hit it and go right into the calendar and the financials, okay? And I'll do a quick calendar financials, and at that point I've read people pretty good, and if they might surprise me occasionally, but not very often, and I get through that, I'll present it to them, and then I'll just sit back, see what they're going to do. If it's not the right time, whatever, that's fine. I didn't waste more time explaining things than I needed to, because I was reading that person all the way through. I didn't want to prejudge, but I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. But I needed to have that conversation, and then if I needed to move on quickly, I needed to move on, because I didn't want to bog down the rest of my day, okay, and try to persuade someone that couldn't be persuaded or move to the next step, okay? If they're engaged, I move them through there. I was very thorough in my report of findings. I didn't cut time. I made sure I spend the time with them. I sat down in a comfortable environment. I sat right next to them. It was like I was sitting down having a conversation with a family member or a friend, right? That's what it was. I was sitting them right next to them, and I had a 30-inch flat screen computer which had my MRIs already keyed up. It already had my X-rays keyed up. Everything was ready. I didn't walk in that room and fiddle-fart around trying to figure out where my X-rays were, my MRI was. That was all keyed up. At the early morning of the day, when I got there before everybody else, if I had 4 reports that day, you better damn well believe Dr. Rader had 4 reports in his doc ready to go when those people started showing up, because I didn't have time to screw around looking for those people. I had this all keyed up. It was all ready to go. My annotations were already on my MRIs, my X-rays, and all I did was stand outside the door with my file. I spent a minute and a half looking at it, because I'd already spent time earlier that day. I spent a minute and a half looking at it. I knew what I needed to do, and I went in. Hey, you ready to get started, Jim? Boom. And I went right into it, okay? I was prepared. Report of finding is about preparation. You want to improve your day 2 conversion? Be prepared, doctor. If you're not at the office, if you've got 2 or 3 reports in the morning, you better damn well have your ass at the office 1 hour before if you want to convert $5,000 cases. You want to know the secret to having $20,000 days? Be prepared. Get to the office early. Study those pictures like they're your mom or dad. Don't half-ass it. Half-ass. If you have big goals, it's not possible. You can't half-ass it and expect to have big results. So I was prepared. I gave him my best when I went in there in that day 2. I took the time to explain to him. If it took me 45 minutes, I took 45 minutes. My staff may have had to come to the door and knock on it 3 times. Where are you at, Dr. Rader? We got people backing up. All right, I got it. I know. So I focused on them. I went right back and focused on them because I knew that was going to be a $6,000 case to me, and that person was going to get help. Okay? And so I finished that. I go through my calendar. I go through my financials. That's the last part of that part. And then pretty much I'm setting the stage all the way through that day 2. And we're going to do another video on day 2. I probably spent more time on day 1 today. That's okay. It is what it is. I'll spend more time on the day 2. I'll do a specific video on day 2. Call this video day 1, day 2 conversion. So the day 2, pretty much you gotta explain it. You gotta break it down for them. You gotta go through that MRI word for word, line for line. You gotta mark up that MRI. You gotta make sure that they know. You go through the degenerative models. You go through all the X-rays. You go through that full spine X-ray. You paint that picture. You talk to them about how long you're gonna work together. You're already assuming they're working with you. You're not thinking anything other than that. So they're working with you. Okay? My mind was that they're starting today. Whether that happened or not, it didn't sometimes, and a lot of times it didn't. But in my mind, they were. And so I finished that. I walk them up to the front desk, exactly like how I teach you guys. And we go through the payment process. I tell them which option she's going to choose. Go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to go program the table in and get everything ready to go for a first treatment. I focus on that. I don't want that slowed down in any way, shape, or form. My staff is at attention. They collect the money. They bring them right back to the correction room, make the spinal correction, finish the spinal correction. They go right on the spinal decompression table if I'm a spinal decompression doctor. Finish the spinal decompression treatment. They spend 15 to 20 minutes in the chair relaxing on some ice just to let things settle in before they leave the practice. The last step is they go over briefly go over the calendar. If there was changes, the staff is going to get it for them on their next appointment. Okay? That's the end of day 2. So anyhow, guys, day 1 and day 2 is where the rubber meets the road. We can drive patients in our marketing, and we continue to get better on the phone. But then when they come in, you gotta produce doctors. You gotta be able to fill in those gaps. You gotta build those bridges. You gotta build that rapport. You gotta get these people to know, like, and trust you to where they'll buy in at any price point that you have. Okay, there's certain people that are gonna do this, and so you have to create that high value. Lay it out to where they can really understand it. Most of the patients that ever came into me for a report of findings said, "God, doctor, I've been dealing with this for 15 years. No one's explained it to me like you do." I know that. I tell them, I says, I know that. And I tell them even before that. I'm not cocky about it, but I'm confident about it. I'm going to explain to this. I tell them up front on day 1, I say, I'm going to explain to this better than anyone has ever explained it to you in your entire life. And so by the time I finish tomorrow, you're going to know exactly what's going on, and you're going to know you're in the right place, and I'm going to be able to help you. That's the level of conviction and confidence you need when you go into those day 1s and day 2s. You have that confidence and conviction, people will love you. They just love coming in to get their treatments. They'll pay whatever amount of money, and they'll stay in rehydration and maintenance with you forever. So, all right, doctors, you have a great day. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.